Hello and welcome to episode, I think I'm on 13 of Leaving California, and today I'm with Eric Eby in Northwest Arkansas. I'm excited. I had some people that were interested in this area. We were just talking off camera about how many people you have moving there. You sent me some really cool properties that I'm excited to show off. But first of all, tell me a little bit about you, your background in real estate, when you moved to the area, that kind of thing.
Perfect. Yeah. So thank you for having me on. I've been looking forward to this as well. I do a lot of videos, and I'm getting a lot of people moving from California. So this is a really good fit for what my life has been like, especially over the last year, since my YouTube channel is really starting to grow, and I'm getting a lot more people finding me on YouTube. But so once again, my name is Eric Eby. I live in Fayetteville, or just outside of Fayetteville, Arkansas. I've lived here for 19 years now. Went to college at the University of Arkansas, which is here in Fayetteville, and had a couple corporate jobs that I hated, and ended up getting my real estate license in 2015, and just discovered my passion for real estate. And I'm almost 5 years in now, and I'm the team leader of the Curtis Realty Group here in Northwest Arkansas, and I'm the principal broker for HomeQuest Realty. So I've kind of had a real fast start to my career, and I love this area. I love selling houses. I love meeting new people, and it's a really good career to be able to do all those things that I love.
Yeah, I had some corporate jobs, and I'm a terrible employee, and I absolutely, I work harder for myself 100%, but I like being on my own, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've heard a quote that a true entrepreneur will work 80 hours a week to keep from having to work 40.
Yeah, I think that's our life for sure. Your YouTube channel, that's what I wanted to say. So if you're watching this and you search Eric Eby on YouTube, you'll see that he's got a pretty extensive YouTube channel, lots and lots of views. He's got people finding him from his YouTube channel to be able to move there, and I think that that's super pretty cool. I'm just starting to build my channel, and part of that is this and these videos and getting people to find other agents outside the area via me. And I'm having a great time meeting everybody. So tell me a little bit about Northwest Arkansas compared to what maybe Californians think of Arkansas.
I'll tell you that the northwest corner of the state where we're at is like a diamond in the rough. If you go 45 minutes in any direction from here, it's exactly what most Californians would think. Very rednecky and backwoods, and people not having all their teeth in their head and walking around with no shoes and overalls on. But the northwest corner is a very special place. So there's there's about 5 towns that make up the general area of Northwest Arkansas. We've got Fayetteville, which is actually a college town. That's where the University of Arkansas is located. It's the biggest school in the state. We've also got Springdale, Arkansas, which is just north of Fayetteville, and that's where Tyson Foods World Headquarters is. So all the chicken and the pork and everything that everybody eats. Then you go a little bit north of that, and you've got Rogers, Arkansas, and Bentonville, Arkansas is right next to that. Bentonville is the home of Walmart. So Walmart's world headquarters is here. Tyson Foods world headquarters is here. And one of the largest trucking companies, JB Hunt Trucking, their world headquarters is here as well. And so the thing that's really cool about Northwest Arkansas that most people don't realize is that there's more management jobs per capita than anywhere else in the world in Northwest Arkansas. And that's because of those 3 big companies. And Walmart actually requires any company that does business with them to have a regional office within half an hour.
Wow.
home office in case they call an emergency meeting. So we've got all the huge companies, the Procter and Gamble, Unilever, Kellogg's, every big company has an office here, and the Rogers, the Pinnacle Hills area of Rogers is really blowing up, and there's lots of really big buildings being built, and the Waltons and the Hunts from JB Hunt and the Tyson family have all done a really good job of investing in the area. And so we've got a real small town kind of feel because there's not any really big cities here, but they all kind of mesh together. So we've got small town feel, but there's so many companies here, which brings a lot of culture to the area. So there's actually stuff to do. We've got a very good selection of local restaurants and bars, and that's kind of something that really surprises a lot of people. Hearing that we're the home of Walmart, you would think everything is just chains and corporate, but
yeah,
not a ton of. I mean, there are chain restaurants and stuff here, but there is more support behind local business, local restaurants, local bars than anywhere else I've ever been. And it's just, it just adds to the charm of the area. The downtown areas of Bentonville, Rogers, and Fayetteville are just all local, and it's very fun to go to those areas. There's farmers square in the spring and the summer that are some of the best farmers markets in the country. There are events all throughout the year. Bentonville has actually crowned itself the mountain biking capital of the world. There's about 300 miles of mountain biking trails up in the Bentonville and Bella Vista area. And it's kind of like a ski town, only for mountain biking, that you can ride all 4 seasons. So like you can go straight from the Bentonville Square, a block off the square is one of the trailheads for mountain biking, and that connects to 130 miles of mountain biking trails. And so it's a really cool area. The terrain here is beautiful. It's very hilly. Some call it the Ozark Mountains, but if you've lived near actual mountains, you would probably call these hills. But it's not flat and ugly. There's, people from California, they always make comments about how green and lush everything is because it actually rains here. And your water bill's really cheap here. You can get water and trash pickup for about $40 or $50 a month here. So.
See, that's some of the stuff we talk about when I do these episodes, is those little things that are making a huge difference in cost of living for people that they don't really think about until they've left. I wanted to show on your map a little bit about where you are at. So we're going to zoomed all the way out, literally the northwest corner of the state. Like you probably, you're on a border.
Yeah, we're kind of in the corner of almost 4 states. So, where we're at here in Fayetteville, for example, I can be in Oklahoma in half an hour. I can be in Missouri in 45 to 50 minutes. And I can be in Kansas. Not that anybody wants to really go to Kansas. I could be in Kansas in about an hour too. So, but there's just nothing in the Missouri and Kansas and really the Oklahoma. I mean, everything is basically just all right here in
right here. And that corporate thing was interesting because you don't think about, until you started saying it, I don't really think about, Walmart headquarters, right? You've got like high up corporate jobs.
Yes.
This is a Walmart manager job. This is a big high-end corporate job, and they're living in Arkansas.
Yes, 100%. And actually, because there's just so much business here, and it's just crazy the amount of jobs and stuff that are in this area because of Walmart, JB Hunt, and Tyson, and all of those companies that do business and support those companies. There's a ton of opportunity here that most people would never even
wouldn't have ever thought of it. Mm-hmm. So we'll start down at the bottom in Fayetteville and work our way up to Rogers and kind of an idea of what home prices look like and what you get for the money. What I've done in this series is used $500,000 as my median home price here in Placer County, California, and moved that over across the country to kind of see what you get for the money. But I always ask, do you know what your median home price is there? And like, is this high end or middle or compared?
Yeah, absolutely. So our median home price in Northwest Arkansas is about 225,000. So you're more than double our median when you talk about 500 and above. So 500,000 is going to get you a really, really nice house.
It's going to get you a good swap. That's the goal, and that's the fun part of this is that, you know, some areas, I went to Houston, and in Houston it's like kind of about their median in the outskirts of Houston. So it's been fun to kind of see like really how that translates across the country. My friend Amanda, so I can pop up the she says she's moving. Look, she's got packing boxes. All right. So let's start with this one. So this is really cool, and I thought that it was really cool that you picked this house because I wouldn't have put this modern architecture in Arkansas.
Yeah, exactly. And most people would think we live in huts or mobile here. But this particular thing is a new construction. It's a very modern design. It's in the heart of Fayetteville on what is called Mount Sequoia. It's kind of rare to see this in that area. So Mount Sequoia is mostly older homes, and that whole area of Fayetteville has a lot of character. There's a lot of bungalows and stuff like that, but they've started really kind of packing in some new construction. They've torn down some older houses and put up stuff like this. So, you know, you see these modern options and they're kind of surrounded by funky little bungalows and stuff like that. So it kind of stands out. And this, here on Mount Sequoia, I mean, it's up on a mountain, and you got amazing views up there, and lots of deer and wildlife running around. It's a really popular area. A lot of people want to be on Mount Sequoia just because it's right in the center of town. It's, you know, got some nice views, and there's kind of like it's old Fayetteville, and so a lot of people, when they move here, they realize I want to live in old Fayetteville. I
wouldn't mind sitting on this deck. Like, this wouldn't be a bad way to go. Like, right. I can handle that. And it's funny because I work a lot in the foothills of Sacramento. So really like between Tahoe and Sacramento. So we do have mountains. I mean, we have real mountains, but I know that, when I visit my parents who moved to Texas, they live in hill country. And so I'm always shocked that it's not flat. And I think that that's a huge, we don't realize what a mindset shift that is from flat to mountains. And I think it's cool that you have a little bit of landscape.
Yeah. So Fayetteville has a lot more hills than like Bentonville. Bentonville Fayetteville is pretty hilly, and then it flattens out between Fayetteville and Rogers, and then out towards Beaver Lake, which is in Rogers. It gets hilly and stuff back in there. Bentonville overall is pretty flat, and then when you get north of Bentonville and Bella Vista towards the Missouri line, it's very hilly there too. So we got a little bit of everything. If you want to be flat and have a flat yard, you got that option. If you want some hills and a lot of trees and a lot of scenery, then there's that too. So it's kind of a little bit of something for everybody.
So this next one in Fayetteville is another modern style, and 2,100 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2.5 baths on a little less than a quarter of an acre. So you're getting yard, even though it's new. They're not packing you in at like a 10th.
Yeah. That's one thing that I've noticed is that a difference in the people here and the people in California. People in California, when I talk to them, they're asking me the square footage of the lot, and I have to figure out how to calculate that because we talk in acres here. You know, at least a quarter of an acre typically, but when you're talking about $500,000 house, I mean, you're likely to have, half an acre or more on $500,000 house, because you're looking at lots of square footage, and that eats up that lot. So they, typically don't. There's some houses like these modern options that are on the Mount Sequoia. They're going to be pretty close together. But if you get off of that and out a little bit, I mean, $500,000 will get you a really nice spread here in Northwest Arkansas. And you can see, this is another new construction. So, I mean, it's got top of the line finishes and everything like that. So this house is just, I love this funky modern look, and it's kind of cool to see it. See the little
sick
deck and stuff like that. So, I definitely wouldn't mind hanging out there.
No, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. And that's up there, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, well, here, new construction, I mean, you got to go by square footage, because it's like at a 10th, you're breathing down your neighbor's neck. So, we have to measure it different. So now we're kind of going middle. This went pending since we talked.
Really hot.
So how fast are things going? Because here we're at about 2 weeks or less of inventory. And it's, even though I've got so many clients leaving, I'm in a special place in California where people want to be. So as much as we're seeing leaving, I'm seeing just as many people trying to buy here. So our inventory is so tight, which is why I'd love to help people come see you, because I've got buyers for their house here all day long. But how fast are things moving over there?
So if you're looking under $300,000, you better look at it the day it hits the market, and if you love it, you better put an offer in ASAP, because there's multiple offers on stuff under $300,000, and they're selling, a day or two typically. When you, of course, this is, in the $500,000 range, that's double what our average is. Something like this one that went pending, I mean, it sold in about a week and a half. Maybe shorter than that. So it just kind of depends. I mean, the stuff that's got a little bit of acreage and, is more spread out and more, more buffer zone from the neighbors, which is, I think, what a lot of people like about this area, is there is a lot of options to not be right on top of your neighbor. It kind of depends. If a house sits on the market, longer than a couple of weeks, it's probably overpriced or in bad shape. Even in this $500,000 range, it needs updates or something like that. You can see this one has been updated. It's in very good shape. I think it's on a half an acre lot. So this one, it's got all the right things. It's a 1-level home, very big yard. So there's a lot that people could do with this 3-car garage.
It's a half an acre. And what we don't have, and that's because of the mountains, is the skyline the way that you guys do. So our mountains stop that sky, which is cool. But at the same time, it's like, I'm always fascinated by like the horizon in the middle of the country. It's so neat to me.
Yeah. And this house here is in Springdale, which is close to, the Tyson area. It's in a really good location as well. And so that's up the 49 corridor, is where a lot of people are wanting to be, because you can get to Fayetteville. That's another thing that people from California love about this area, is the traffic. It's 25, call it 25 miles from Fayetteville to Bentonville, and you can get there in about 30 minutes, even with heavy traffic. So,
I mean, what's heavy traffic to you?
Right. Yeah. I mean, traffic is a relative term. So like, people around here complain about having to take 30 minutes to go 25 miles, and people from California are like, oh, that's a dream. I mean, it takes me an hour and a half to go 5 miles sometimes. So I think, the folks in California would be really surprised as to, they've widened our Interstate 49 not too long ago. There's still a few parts where they're working on it, but it's 3 lanes on both sides, and the shoulder's wide enough that if we get a lot more population, that they don't have to do a ton of construction to add another lane to it. So we're set up, they plan kind of in advance for those things. They're expecting, our population in Northwest Arkansas and the whole area is around 500,000 people. And they are predicting that we'll have about 1 million people in the next 5 or 6 years. So, we're expecting to kind of see home prices kind of continue to go up and the area continue to be developed.
And they're planning ahead for traffic.
They're planning ahead. Mm-hmm.
That's brilliant.
Yes. Yeah, you don't see that in California, from what I understand.
Pre-planning is a novel concept.
Right.
Taxes. So a little bit, I talked to people a little bit about property taxes, income taxes. You don't have to go into super detail, but like in Texas, there's no income tax, but there's a little bit higher property tax. So what does that look like for you there?
So on the typical, $225,000 house in Northwest Arkansas, your property taxes are probably going to be somewhere around $1,500 a year, $2,000 a year, maybe, depending on what city it's in. Bentonville and Fayetteville are going to have the highest taxes of all the cities in Northwest Arkansas. So, taxes are a lot lower than they see in California. Another thing is that I understand California has that Prop 13 thing that, when you sell a house, the next buyer, their taxes could go up quite a bit. We don't have that here. So, typically you're going to see a little bit of increase every year in the taxes, but it's not thousands of dollars a year. I mean, it may go up $100 or $200 a year. Something.
So our taxes are based on the sale price. So say somebody bought the house for $250 10 years ago, and now it's worth $500. The person paying $500 is going to be based on the sales price. Is it not that way, or is it just like a base tax?
The county does assessments on the properties, and typically they're a lot lower than what the actual market value or appraised value would be, and they tax you based on their assessment of the value of the property.
Yeah, different. Mm-hmm. So moving up a little bit is Rogers, and this house is huge. So 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, almost 4,000 square feet on a little under a quarter acre. And how cute is that?
Yeah, that's a pretty typical look for a house up in that area. That's an area that you get a lot of those Walmart executives wanting to live in that area, because it's within 10, 15 minutes of the Walmart home office. And this is a great neighborhood, a very desirable neighborhood. And a lot of the houses look almost exactly like this. Some of them have been recently updated, and some of them, could use a little bit of freshening up. But this is a pretty typical house in that area of Rogers.
Huge media room. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a big upstairs playroom, bonus room, media, kid corner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a huge yard.
Yeah, big yard. I mean, that's only a 0.22 acre yard, but there's plenty of room there. Obviously, I don't know if that's the neighborhood pool, so it's got a little neighborhood community center kind of thing and a swimming pool there. But 0.2 acres, when you've got 4,000 square foot sitting on it, your yard's not going to be huge. So you may kind of feel closer to neighbors and stuff like that in that kind of neighborhood. But there's, the people who have kids love those neighborhoods because it does have the community pool, and there's tons of kids running around in those neighborhoods riding their bikes up and down the street. And it's very safe in Rogers and in Bentonville. Actually, Northwest Arkansas in general is very, very safe. The crime rate's very, very low. And so, it's a great area for families to move to.
And the reason I stopped on the neighborhood pool is I've noticed that a lot of HOAs and a lot of community amenities in a lot of the neighborhoods that I've visited in this series. We have those here, not as much as I've seen though, traveling around. Mm-hmm. and they're very expensive. So do you know, I can pull in here and see if we can see what the HOA dues are, because they're probably nothing.
I would guess it's probably $700 a year, something like that.
Cheaper than that. Is that it? Is that it?
$360 a year. Is that what that says?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, the most expensive areas in Rogers are going to be Shadow Valley and Pinnacle. Those are both gated golf course communities, and even POA membership with a golf membership is going to be under $2,000 a month for sure. And
a year.
Super expensive for this area. Well, I mean, yeah. Pinnacle's very, they have PGA tours that play on that course. So, I mean, that one's high end.
And that's $2,000 a year?
I don't know the exact price of that one.
Something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around in there.
Yeah. So we're like, our HOAs can be $300 or $400 a month. Maybe you get a pool, maybe you get like road maintenance.
Yeah.
So it's been definitely something I see, especially in the central part of the country, is having the amenities. Some of the amenities have been amazing.
Yeah.
So moving up further into Rogers is 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 4,000 square feet. This house is huge. Yes. 0.39, only $549,900. This is pretty.
Yeah, this one's been completely renovated. I think it's built in the 70s, but this is, in a really nice established neighborhood, big mature trees. And this house has been completely renovated, basically new everything. And this is a very desirable area as well because it is a more established neighborhood with the bigger trees and stuff.
This fireplace is fantastic.
Yes, and that big open.
I like that.
I mean, they've done a lot of work to that house there.
Yeah, I was trying to get into the yard. I don't care about people's bedrooms.
Bedroom. You want kitchens, and that's going to be like a fun room there. Looks like.
Yeah, they got a spa, all that, like enclosed in here, huh?
Yep.
And then a huge yard. And I like the architecture of this house on the outside. I mean, like you said, it's from the 70s, so it's a little bit different, but it's not, it's not just like cookie cutter looking. It's pretty. So then the very last one is up in Rogers. And is this a lake?
That one's going to be out near the lake. I can't remember if this one was lakefront or not. Probably.
Let's find out.
Almost 3 acres, 2.84 acres, but it's in the lake area, so it's not lakefront, but it's got a couple acres, 3,100 square feet. This one, I believe, has had some as well, but this is another one-level home on a pretty flat wooded lot, and it's got really and it's had some renovations done to it as well.
How far to town or like shopping or groceries? Is this like really remote, or is this still?
You could be in downtown Rogers from this house in about 15 minutes. And we're in Walmart's world. We're in Walmart's backyard, so that we've got a Walmart, either a super center or a neighborhood market, almost every mile.
And then, imagine.
Yeah, and then
there's a lot of Walmarts over in a neighborhood market, so I can't imagine being in like Walmart headquarters and everything is a Walmart. I'm sure.
Yeah, everything's Walmart, and we have some other, we have Whole Foods, and we have some natural grocers, and another, regional grocery store chain called Harps, and Dollar General is all over the place out here. We've actually got huge gas stations like Casey's and Come and Go that there is a lot of stuff out here that people are just.
Is it as big as Buc-ee's? Because I've been to Texas.
No, Buc-ee's is a whole different animal. Yeah, you got 100 gas pumps and 100 urinals in the bathroom.
In the bathroom, this is random, but the bathrooms in the Buc-ee's are immaculate and huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're ever traveling, driving across the country, go to a Buc-ee's if you have to have a snack and a pee, because it's the best. It's the best spot.
I mean, only in Texas.
Only in Texas, probably. Okay, I think that's all of them. So tell me while we wrap up, first of all, if you guys are interested in learning more about Northwest Arkansas, Eric's website is searchnwa.com. You can search houses on there, take a look, figure it out. If you're searching his site from this show, let him know that this is where you saw his information so that he can keep track of where his leads are coming from. But I want to know your top 2 favorite things about living in Northwest Arkansas.
Top 2, man, I just can only pick 2, huh? For me, number 1 is all the outdoor activities that are available here. So we've got Beaver Lake. If you like fishing or water sports, there's Beaver Lake. Up in Bella Vista, there's 7 different lakes in Bella Vista. I love to fish and canoe and camp and stuff like that. So we've got rivers all over the place. We've got within an hour here, the first national river in the United States, the Buffalo River, is located there. It's the cleanest river in the United States. It's just gorgeous. There's 300-foot bluffs. It's kind of like going through almost like if the Grand Canyon had greenery around it.
Okay.
Through that. So I love outdoorsy stuff. I've got one of those razors, side-by-side razors, and there's tons of trails to ride those things on around here. So that's my favorite thing, is just the outdoorsy stuff that just any direction. There's stuff that I can go hiking trails, and like I said, Bentonville's, mountain biking capital of the world. So outdoorsy stuff is number 1 for me. And then number 2, I think is the sense of community that we have, the sense of local community. Everybody loves to support local. You see it, painted on the side of buildings, really pretty murals that have been painted that are, about supporting local business and local restaurants and shopping. And I think that's something that, for me, coming from East Texas, where everything is just chains and we don't, there's a line around the block to eat at Texas Roadhouse. Here we've got stuff that you'd only hear about here. And to me, that's better. I supporting my neighbors and, eating and patronizing their establishment. So I think that's something that I think really surprises a lot of people is the local people just backing local here because of the huge corporations that are here. You would almost expect it to be the opposite of that, but the support of local and just the culture that we have here, because Walmart's got people. There's a very diverse range of people that live here that work for all those companies and that work in the plants and stuff like that. So you go find hole in the wall Mexican restaurants that'll be the best Mexican food you've ever had. Very authentic, and it's just, there's so much going on here that you would never know until you've been here.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
It will absolutely blow you away if you come here. And there's a reason that last week I had 4 different groups of people, 2 of them from California, 2 of them from Oregon that were here. I've got some people here today that are here from California looking at houses. I've got people from New Orleans coming next week and somebody from Miami coming the week after that. I had a guy from South Korea call me last night. Really, really great area. And I'm kind of glad that most people don't know about it because,
You're ruining it with your YouTube channel.
I know I'm ruining it. I get a lot of comments about, hey, don't bring California people to Arkansas. I'm like, those California people are a lot like you, and they want to get away from the crazy California people that you don't like, so.
Well, and that's the same thing, right? Like in the beginning, we talked about what the stereotypes are for Arkansas. We have stereotypes of our own, and
Exactly.
we do. I mean, I think that last house having a little bit of space, but access to amenities and whatever, that's the dream, right? Sacramento is considered the farm to fork capital of the world. There's tons of food, local restaurants. We have tons of local restaurants on top of all the chain restaurants. So I think highlighting that is super important because nobody wants to eat at Chili's every day.
No, nobody here wants to eat at Chili's ever.
Ever. And I don't know. I mean, they all still make money. They're all still busy. But I think
somehow they're in business, but I don't know. Like most down here are just going to local places because what you were saying, there's more local options than there are chain restaurants, and we really get behind that here in Northwest Arkansas.
So my last question before we sign off, with everybody that you're having that are moving there, are they employed by some of those big companies, or are you seeing what I'm seeing is that a lot of the people that are leaving are keeping their employment and they're staying able to work remote, so they're finding their lifestyle that their dream elsewhere?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have a mixture of a lot of people. A lot of people wanting to retire here. Because if you're coming from a place like California, your dollar is going to stretch a lot. Your retirement dollar is going to go a lot further in a place like this where the cost of living is half or a quarter of what you're used to spending in a place like California. And there are a lot of, golf courses and outdoor recreation, that retired folks, typically want to. This is also a great central area of the country, so people who are retiring can use this as a jumping off point to go, do some traveling around the country, and it's a great location. But so I get, I probably the majority of the people that I've met recently have been retirees. But I've got several people who I'm talking to that are going to make a trip that are able to work from home now remotely, and they can live anywhere they want to. So there's a ton of that going on. And then there are people who are getting jobs through one of those companies. Actually, there's the Walton family had something going on like a month ago, and I understand they got overwhelming response, but they were paying $10,000 for you to move here, and they would give you a free mountain bike. Apply through this link, and from what I understand, they got way overwhelmed, and I think they were only going to approve like 100 or 200 people to do that, and they got thousands and thousands of applications. But
that's crazy.
They're doing a lot of cool things, especially the Walton family, to bring culture and to bring people. Walmart's. I'm about to do a video, so if you guys check out my YouTube channel, Eric Eby. I'm about to do a video for Bentonville, and I'm going to show what Walmart's current home office looks like. It looks like a jail. There's no windows. It's just an ugly brick building. But they are building like a 360-acre new campus, and it's going to be it's almost set up like a little city within Bentonville. There'll be restaurants and shopping and stuff like that. And, they're really trying to compete for top talent against Amazon and all these other big companies that are out there. And, they're investing like crazy into the area. It really is something to see.
So we see campuses like that, Facebook, Google, out in the Bay Area have city campuses. And I can imagine that that's exactly what you were saying, is that they're looking for that same talent, right? So Walmart needs that same tech. They need to be able to, all of the services that they're offering for store pickup and delivery and all that requires the technology. And they want to be able to have those employees that are here come have the same amenities at work that they have where they left. So that's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
I did say that was my last question, but it's not, because we haven't talked about the weather, and everybody always asks me to talk about the weather. So humid, you said no snow, so year-round mountain biking. So that means
I can't say no snow. It's rare that we get snow. So this year we've actually gotten more snow than I've seen in the last almost decade. But typically, we do have all 4 seasons here, unlike California. So we get spring, summer, fall, and winter. Right now it's sunny and at about 50 degrees. Average temperatures probably in those high 60s, low 70s. We do get a little bit of snow. Most of the time it's just a dusting. But I've been here for 18, 19 years. I've seen us get like a foot of snow before. It just it's random. You just never know what you're going to see. So if you're talking, humidity is a relative thing too. So I grew up in East Texas, where you step outside and it just knocks you down. You start instantly sweating. It's going to be more humid here than the dry climates of California and Colorado and Arizona, but not nearly as much as where I grew up. I think the average humidity is between 50 and 70% here. We do get a lot of rain, so it's very green here. I don't know what our average rainfall is, but we do get a lot of rain, especially in the spring and the summer. We're technically in Tornado Alley, so there randomly could be tornadoes. It's not real common. I've lived here for 18, 19 years, like I said, and there's been maybe 1 or 2 tornadoes that have come into Northwest Arkansas, and they've been pretty small. But I don't know if there's any science to it, but when there's hilly terrain, technically the tornadoes kind of go around that. So you see in the flatter areas like west, kind of by the Oklahoma border, and then south of Fayetteville, there's more of that tornadic activity there. But not too bad. We do get some hailstorms. That's the most common thing that you see on inspection reports when you buy a house, is that the roof has some hail damage, and the insurance company will pay for that and get that taken care of as part of an insurance claim.
We don't have as many earthquakes as people think either. So I think that that's important to know, that we don't have earthquakes. We don't have an earthquake season.
Yeah, we in Oklahoma, they do a couple hours away from here, they do that fracking, and that has caused some earthquakes. I've personally never felt one, but I've seen on Facebook somebody said, "Did you guys feel that?" And it's like a little bit, maybe, but we don't really see that. It's mostly just rain and sunshine here.
That's the best. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. Again, if you guys are looking for more information about Northwest Arkansas, reach out to me. I can connect you to Eric. Check out his YouTube channel. It's just Eric Eby on YouTube, and he pops up. Thousands of views on YouTube, which is incredible. And I think that like I said, if you need any more information, please don't hesitate to reach out. And again, thank you so much for your time, and good luck with all of your out-of-state clients this week.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I would love to help any of your clients out, and thank you again for having me on. This was a fun thing to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Have a good day. Thank you.